Hello, my name is Andre, and I'm a marketing intern at WACEO, and I'm the one that's gonna be conducting today's presentation for YouTube concerning DAO. The presentation and the coverage was initially made by Diana, our legal intern, also here at WACEO. So let's dive more into the general overview of DAO. Dash has been generally depicted as a blockchain-based person-to-person cryptocurrency which can be used for the purpose of sending and receiving payments. Some of the main features for which it is highly praised is its central focus on increased privacy and a faster speed of transactions, which renders them near instantaneous and rather close to impossible to trace back to the initial user. Dash has been also recognized as a decentralized government of blockchain, which ultimately means that every government issue is handled solely by the Dash community members rather than by a decentralized authority such as a bank. Because of its popularity, we at WACEO completed a light audit on some of the legal and regulatory risks that DAO members may face in the future or are already facing at present. So without further ado, let's continue with DAO's legal and regulatory risks, starting with corporate governance. Dash has been maintaining its role as an advocate for strong decentralization concerning its governance structure and policy by relying on masternodes and high community engagement to make decisions on various proposals. As such, DAO's governance model is called Blockchain Decentralized Governance, or DGBB for short, which in effect allows each masternode to vote once for each proposal. While this voting method might provide a rapid decision-making route, the system has also been criticized from the very start due to an error in the early stages of establishment, which allowed too many coins to be distributed only to a few of its users. Consequently, this has contributed to the concentration of wealth to only a small group, which ultimately formed the majority stakeholders. And this implies a greater influence in business operations and strategic directions of the DAO. It has been purported that it would be unfairly difficult for proposals that do not have the support of the founder and core team, which allegedly form the majority shareholders, to eventually succeed. And to that end, this would give them a disproportionate power in decisions over the currency's future, as well as raises considerable doubts as to the legitimacy of DAO's decentralized nature. We at WACEO have also noticed some money laundering implications. DAO, as opposed to other cryptocurrencies, differentiates itself from other cryptocurrencies via its PrivateSend feature, which has the ultimate goal of providing a higher level of privacy protection when performing various transactions. But upon closer examination, we have found that this process might not entirely comply with AML regulations, thus posing a risk of money laundering and countering terrorist financing. PrivateSend enables Dash users to make and receive untraceable payments on the blockchain through a process that they call mixing. And the aim of this feature is to preserve the fungibility of Dash coins by altogether obfuscating the transactional provenance on the network. While the fungibility of the currency is crucial in order to be freely exchanged without it being blacklisted at any point, in the same vein, the untraceability of the Dash transactions may also cause various obstacles for combating money laundering and countering terrorist financing. The anonymity of the Dash cryptocurrency transactions prevents them from being adequately monitored by the relevant authorities, allowing dubious transactions to occur outside of the regulatory perimeter. Thus, over time, this has unfortunately enabled criminal organizations to make use of cryptocurrencies to obtain easy access to clean cash in order to fund illegal activities. The existing EU legal framework is currently failing to deal with the aforementioned issue, leaving it up to the national authorities and legal systems to establish relevant normative rules. In recent years, a novel initiative has been deployed under the name of Investigation of Transactions in Underground Markets, or Titanium for short, which had the aim of investigating criminal or terrorist activities involving virtual currencies. Nevertheless, a more structural regulatory approach would definitely be more preferable, both at the EU Union level as well as within every national criminal law framework. There are also several tax implications we have found at DAO. Because of its DAO PrivateSend feature, it provides the anonymity that may be desired by many investors, but it also constitutes one major problem and issue for the tax authorities due to the high probability of investors dipping into tax evasion waters. And from a legal perspective, entering into any such taxable monetary transaction without paying taxes is definitely undesired and usually leads to tax evasion, which is more or less a serious offense. When the user making the transactions is protected by the DAO's anonymity, it makes it merely impossible to be identified and sanctioned by the authorities for tax evasion. This makes cryptocurrencies, and especially DAO, a very attractive avenue, particularly for tax evaders. DAO is also problematic due to its digital and decentralized nature, as almost all DAOs. From a legal standpoint, taxes are based on jurisdictions from which entities operate. But DAO, as a digital and decentralized entity, it has an unclear status for tax law purposes. Thus far, it has been established that direct payments from DAOs for goods and/or services can be taxable since they constitute capital gains or losses from the sale of governance tokens, which usually fluctuate in price. On the other hand, although various sources allege that DAOs themselves through similarly be taxable entities, it has yet to be determined how or where those taxes should be levied. And this brings us to a conclusion of today's presentations. I would like to thank our YouTube viewers for joining in today, and always feel free to ask me or anyone else at WACEO if you have any further questions or would like to contact us for cooperation related activities. Again, thank you for joining.